Hey there. All right, so I'm Cameron Eldred. I'm a doctorate of athletic training student through Indiana State University. And today we are going to be just doing a quick discussion just about my individualized program development plan, the steps that I'm taking to improve it, and how this has affected my performance over the last semester. So, the first thing I want to talk about is my program development plan itself. This has been actually something that was really hard for me because I didn't know how to set goals. I didn't know how to do any of these things that I was supposed to do for this. So, over the last semester, I've taken time every week to kind of look at it and say, okay, how am I going with this? How can I improve this goal? One of the things that I was given as feedback when I initially had put this in was these are some great goals, but they might become a little overwhelming because they were so large in scale. So, what I did over the last semester is as I was working on these goals and as I was trying to improve them, I slowly whittled some things down. So I still have the core value of what each goal meant, but at the same time, I was also able to limit it down so that everything was attainable, so that everything was measurable, things like that. So there's a lot that was going into this. A lot of things that I talked about were like compilation of educational materials, which I set a whole bunch of just specific steps that I was going to take to that. Things such as every new injury that's evaluated in my clinic, that has no previous learning materials. I'm going to research about that, and I will come up with new materials that I can use to teach patients, parents, as well as stakeholders. Originals will be kept on a file, and then at the end of the week, I'll be sorted, print everything out, separate it, and file it in my desk so that I've got easy access to it so I can just give it to people and talk about it as things come along or as things come up. Other things that I talked about was like improvement of my leadership style. The biggest thing with this was I thought I knew what kind of a leader I wanted to be, but as the semesters progressed, I've realized that leaders don't just limit themselves to one specific leadership style. They incorporate a lot of different things depending on the situation that they're in. So I talked a lot about wanting to apply the learning strategies and apply the leadership strategies that I've been learning about and use those to build my leadership style. Some of the things I would do is just take a moment at the end of each day, whether it was 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just reflect on the care that I provided that day, how I utilized different leadership styles and educational materials, and can I improve upon it? So just take a couple of minutes. That's all it is, every single day. I talked about that. I talked about specifically mapping out the type of model that I would like here at my site. The biggest thing for this one next semester is going to be learning about the different integrative models, how I can use this and use the coursework that I'm learning about and use this to implement a more integrative care, model within my clinical site. There's lots of goals, and I was able to truly just expand my own thoughts and expand what I thought I wanted to do. So this has been fantastic for me overall, especially the fact that I took the time every single week to break down my goals and understand that I may not reach some of those, and that's okay. I may not attain those this semester, and that's okay. This was a very big learning process for me. It made me reflect on myself a lot, and it helped me realize that I'm not all I'm cracked up to be, and that's okay. But overall, it also helped me realize that I'm improving. I am improving as a clinician. I'm improving as a healthcare provider. But I wasn't just improving in those aspects. I was improving as a person. And I'm so proud of myself for coming to those realizations. I know it sounds a little egotistical, but I truly found a lot of things about myself that I'm very proud of at this moment. And being able to go through, I just absolutely obliterated my program development plan over the last few weeks as I was trying to reformat it and bring other things into it that I wanted to apply over the next semester. And, I hit probably about 50% of my goals. And the reason for that is I didn't know how to apply some of the things that I wanted to do. And I didn't know how to, I got overwhelmed. I think that's the best way of putting it is I got overwhelmed and I shut down and I was like, man, I don't want to do that because that is such a daunting task. And that was okay. It was okay for me to find that out about myself. That I do have a point where I need to be like, you know what? Your cap is right here right now. But let's improve that. Let's make that cap a little bit higher. This was an extremely emotional and physically draining semester, and I discovered a lot about myself as a person, and I'm improving, and that's what matters. Now, something that this did help me with was it helped me become more of a patient-centered clinician. And I know that, that's something that everybody's like, oh, like you should just be a patient-centered clinician. Like you should always, everything you do should be centered around the patient. That's a lot easier said than done sometimes. And after, some goal reflection and looking at these, I realized that was what I was doing patient-centered? Like, I have a lot more to improve upon, and that's okay. But I had to accept that. I've only been practicing less than a year. And, I came out of my undergraduate degree and I thought, man, pardon my French, I'm hot shit. I know what I'm doing. Like, this is going to be great. And I didn't. And I had some bumps along the way. And that's okay. I truly think that one of the biggest things I took from this program development plan is I've got lots of room to grow. And there's nothing wrong with that. Especially as a clinician, I actually got very comfortable this semester. One of my goals was to begin to implement patient-rated outcomes and utilize clinician-rated outcomes more. And last semester, I was like, man, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to do this. And the first probably 4 weeks of this semester, I was like, yeah, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know how to apply these things. I don't know what I'm looking for. And then I looked at my goals and I said, you know what? No, this was part of my goals and I need to improve upon this. And I'll tell you what, like, it's so much easier now. I have everything loaded onto my iPad right here. Just boop, super easy. PDFs. The patients that I work with can fill out the quick patient-rated outcome, and I can actually submit it right to my electronic medical record system that I use here at my site, and I can track it all, and it's great. And I have had the opportunity to take all the data from some clinician-rated outcomes I've used, patient-rated outcomes, and apply those and take a look at the data. And I've been able to go to my coaches and say, look at what we've been doing. This has decreased the rate of pain in this injury, or we've reduced the amount of time lost due to this injury because of the rehab that we're doing, the treatment that we're doing, and, here's all the data. And look at this. This is awesome. And so something that my clinical site never really did was look at dynamic warm-ups, look at warm-ups in general, and do stretching. And it was causing a lot of strain issues. I was seeing a lot of hamstring strains, a couple of calf strains, things like that. And I was just like, no, there's got to be a better way to approach this. Like, we've got to get these kids more flexible. A lot of them can't touch their toes. So, we implemented some integrative care techniques, started doing a little bit of yoga every day, focusing on hamstrings and low back and the hips. And, a lot of these kids that went from, like a -6, so they were like a long ways away from being able to touch their toes to being able to touch their toes in a couple of months. And it's been fantastic. And the coaches have absolutely loved it. And it's truly helped me within my clinic become a better clinician because I'm focusing more on the patient. I'm focusing more on, okay, great, let's get you ready to get back out on the field. I'm focusing on activities of daily living. I'm focusing on the whole patient, mental, spiritual, physical. And the funny thing is a lot of these patient-rated outcomes ask questions about the whole patient. And I never realized that. And it was helping, it's now helped me improve, because it's helping me focus on the whole patient, or the patient as a whole. So I only have a little bit of time left. I know I've been blabbing on, and I apologize for that. But overall, my individualized program development plan has been improved upon, especially for next semester, utilizing the things that I have learned this last semester. And I'm super pumped. I've got a project together with some of my classmates. We're going to compile a whole bunch of patient-rated outcomes, kind of some of their favorite ones, put them into a Google Drive, and that way everybody's got access to them. And they're going to have explanations on what they can be used for. We're going to break it down by, like the DPA, like, that's for physically active, blah, 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 blah. We're going to break it down into a whole bunch of different categories. We're still in the works. We're still talking about it. But that's a project of mine that I'd like to work on over Christmas break. So again, I apologize. I'm short on time. I could keep talking about this for the next couple of hours. I know, Dr. Powden, you don't want to watch a 2-hour video of me blabbing, so I apologize. But again, thank you so much for everything. This has been a fantastic opportunity for me to be able to reflect and just kind of look at some of the things that I can improve upon. So again, thank you very much. This is Cameron signing off.